Okay, hola niños. Vamos a hacer un pequeño resumen primero about what we have read. Okay, today is Wednesday, 30th, 2020. We are still in September, okay? And we were reading Ángel Macías and Los Pequeños Gigantes, okay? What we read yesterday was about Ángel Macías and his team from Monterrey. They were a very good baseball little league team, okay, that were gonna go play in the United States. In these years, 1957, there was a lot of racism, correct? There was a lot of racism. A lot of people didn't want to get mixed, the white people with the colored people, like the African Americans and the Mexicans, correct? They were very different. The times are very different than the ones that are right now. So we are on page 143, okay, y nos quedamos when estaban ganando, les dieron la visa otra vez para que siguieran jugando. The church was sending money. Los industriales arrived in Louisville, and a lot of people started caring about them, ¿verdad? Les empezaron a dar comida y pues a creer en ese little baseball team, okay? Okay, so I'm going to continue to read on page 143. It says August 23rd, 1957. It was the day of the final, and practically the whole of Latin America was listening to the broadcast, okay? Everybody was listening, everybody. In Monterrey, shops were closed and the city became a ghost town as people turned in to listen to the game, okay? So everybody was listening. No, nadie estaba afuera. Everybody was listening to the game. Obviously, there weren't TVs that could broadcast the game live, así como ahora que tenemos live TV and everything en los juegos. Antes los escuchaban por el radio, ¿ok? Those listening held little hope for the Mexicans, but they knew they'd give it their all, okay? So they were gonna play with everything anyways, okay? Pero sí les daba un poco de más de emoción saber que desde sus casitas los estaban escuchando, ¿verdad? Before the big occasion, Little League officials gave Ángel and the boys new uniforms. They didn't fit. Okay, so ahí le están dando sus new uniforms. They didn't fit. ¿Quién se acuerda por qué no les quedaban los uniformes? Piensen ahí, ¿por qué no les quedaban los uniformes? Ok, los uniformes no les quedaban porque ellos estaban muy pequeños, acuérdense de eso. Y los Americans eran grandes, ok. The average height of La Mesa was 5 feet 4 inches, ok. Los Industriales, on the other hand, averaged 4 feet 11 inches. The uniform looked huge when they put them on, but this didn't bother Angel, who himself was just 5 feet tall and weighed a measly 88 pounds, 35 pounds less than the average La Mesa player. Angel knew La Mesa was a good team, a really good team in fact. They had barely had a run score against them on the road to the final. They were bigger and better, and they were supposed to win. Okay, so what we just read, nos describieron a Ángel y nos describieron un La Mesa player, que había una gran diferencia en altura y en peso, ¿verdad? Also, they said, the author told us que había una gran diferencia también de los juegos, ¿verdad? La Mesa estaba ganando por mucho. Ellos iban ganando en su zona, igual como Monterrey iba ganando. Entonces, como la Mesa iba ganando por más, todos estaban diciendo que ellos eran los que iban a ganar. La Mesa iba a ganar, Monterrey se quedaría fuera. Okay, we're going to continue to the next page. So turn to page 144. Por favor, lee conmigo. Si no estás leyendo conmigo y si no le entiendes a algo, toma esta clase. Es algo nuevo que estamos haciendo. Toma esta clase y ponle pausa y vuélvelo a escuchar, ¿ok? Okay, on page 144, we have Ángel Macías on the mount, right? Ahí está arriba de la montaña para picheo. Creo que se dice montaña para pichar. Loma. Loma para pichar se dice. But on the sizzling summer day in August, things didn't work out like that. When it was finally Angel's turn to take the mount, something astonishing began to happen. He retired one La Mesa batter after another. Okay, what does that mean? Quiere decir que lo que nos acaban de decir que iba a pasar, que la mesa iba a ganar, no empezó así el juego. It started by Ángel striking out every single La Mesa player. Entonces él empezó a pichar súper bien y nadie le podía pegar. Eso quiere decir la última oración de que acabamos de leer. He retired one La Mesa batter after another. Ok, solo retiró un La Mesa batter después que el otro. Luego dice, he threw fast and he threw true. The one time La Mesa batsman came close to getting a hit was from the very first pitch. Ok, so la única vez que le iban a pegar a Ángel, pegar, cuando digo pegar, no quiero decir que le van a pegar al Ángel, ¿verdad? Lo que quiero es batear. La única vez que que le iban a batear a Ángel fue en la primera pichada, but the ball was ruled a foul, and for the rest of the game, one by one, their batsmen walked back to the dugout, confused, drained of color, with a stunned look in his eyes. Okay, so cada uno de los bateadores que se paraba para batear no era nadie contra Ángel y se iban y se sentaban de nuevo. The crowd in Williamsport was witnessing something special in the fifth inning. Los Industriales got a break and scored 4 runs. So they scored 4 runs, okay? Los Industriales. Los Industriales son los de Monterrey, okay? People in the crowd expected a reaction from La Mesa, but it never came, okay? So they didn't have any people cheering Monterrey on, okay? Todos le iban a la Mesa. Angel again retired the battles in the fifth inning, and the crowd alliance began to switch. They began to cheer for the Mexicans. Okay, so en la quinta entrada, el béisbol tiene 9 entradas, ok, niños, y en la quinta, pero en este que son de niños chiquitos, Little League Baseball, solamente tiene 7. Entonces, en la quinta entrada de este juego tan cardíaco, la gente empezó a hacer cheer, allí dice, and the crowd's alliance, aquí dice, and the crowd's alliance began to switch, empezó a cambiar, they began to cheer for the Mexicans. ¿Qué empezaron a hacer? Empezaron a echarle porras a los mexicanos. Okay, they began to cheer for the Mexicans. And in the sixth and final inning, nomás jugaron 6. The sixth and final inning, Ángel was facing last La Mesa batter. Okay, entonces ahorita se para a pichar el último bateador para la mesa o de la mesa. Eso quiere decir que es una última oportunidad para que la mesa pueda ganar. Pero esto pasó. One strike. A fast ball, another strike. So they have Monterrey ya le metió 2 strikes, right? Necesita 3. Finally, a curve ball. The batter missed and the crowd went wild. Okay, so the batter did not bat, he did not hit the ball, and the crowd went wild. ¿Qué quiere decir si yo digo the crowd went wild? Eso quiere decir que los que estaban en las gradas enloquecieron. Ellos empezaron a echarle porras a Monterrey porque no podían creer lo que estaba pasando. Final score, Monterrey Industriales 4, Northern La Mesa 0. So no ningunas bateadas, ningunas carreras de La Mesa, and Monterrey 4. So La Mesa lost 4-0. Okay? Next page, 945, dice, Los Industriales of Monterrey became the first team from outside the United States to win the Little League World Series. They became known as Los Pequeños Gigantes, the Little Giants. Ángel Macías, I apologize for the car. Angel Macias only had to throw right-handed that day. He usually switched when one of his arms got tired, but he didn't even have to do that, okay? Acuérdense que nos dijeron que él era ambidiestro, ¿verdad? So he would have to switch if one of his arms got tired, pero en este juego fue tan fácil para él que no tuvo que cambiar. And struck out 11 of the 18 batters he pitched against. So 18 strikes. La Mesa never managed to hit a ball out of the infield. Ángel had also thrown a perfect game. ¿Ok? Un juego perfecto es el que pichó Ángel Macías. Un juego perfecto quiere decir que nadie llegó a primera. ¿Ok? Nadie de los jugadores del otro equipo pudo llegar a primera. Baseball terms, cuando bateaban, nadie llegaba a la primera base, ¿ok? Todos se iban directo ahí a batear y directo al dugout otra vez. El dugout es en donde están los otros jugadores esperando para batear, ¿ok? O para jugar. Ok, let's continue. Angel had also thrown a perfect game, meaning La Mesa. Okay, meaning no La Mesa player was able to get on base, and an official came up to him after the game and pointed this out. But Angel didn't care. It was the team effort that mattered. Okay, es muy importante que un bateador que un pitcher pueda hacer eso en un juego. Es muy rare también, es muy raro que un pitcher pueda hacer eso. Y cuando fueron a felicitar a Ángel por lo que él había hecho, él no le importó. He didn't care because he said it was the team effort that mattered. ¿Ok? ¿Qué dijo él? It was the team effort that mattered. Fue el esfuerzo del equipo lo que importó. Then it says, there were tears of joy among the players of Los Industriales, Angel included. They jumped, they cheered, they hugged each other. The team were in a state of shock, especially after all they had gone through to get there. Angel had expected to leave after a couple of days in the US, but his team had ended up winning the whole thing exactly a month after leaving Monterrey. Ok, so that's that paragraph. Si no lo entendiste, pausa mi video y vuélvelo a leer porque eso es muy importante. Trae mucho sentimiento ese párrafo que acaba de decir y lo vas a necesitar para contestar las preguntas que vienen. Ok, si quieres ponerle pause por mientras nos vamos a la página 46. 146, sorry. Okay, on page 146 dice, instead of going home after the celebrations, the team traveled to New York City by bus. Okay, so they went by bus to New York City. They went to see a Dodgers game at Ebbets Field as guests of the Brooklyn Dodgers players themselves. Okay, if you don't know nothing about baseball, the Dodgers are a Major League Baseball team. Okay, they're very important and ellos eran las estrellas de ese entonces, okay? And they were like the ones to watch, okay? Macy's, an enormous department store in New York, gave each member of the team $40 to go shopping with. After New York, they traveled south to Washington, D.C., where they got to meet and shake the hand of the President Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, so conocieron al presidente también. They traveled from New York all the way to Washington, D.C. Finally, Ángel and los Industriales arrived back in Mexico City. They were greeted at the airport. No buses this time. So they didn't travel by bus. Ya eran unos ganadores y pues los mandaron en avión by the Mexican president Adolfo Ruiz. Oh crap. Cortines. Angel was glad to be back, but he still wasn't home. 1 month after winning the championship, Los Industriales finally arrived back in Monterrey. Angel was back where he belonged. Entonces, the Mexican president Adolfo Ruiz Cortines los recibió, ¿verdad? Okay, around 500,000 people lived in Monterrey at the time. Some people say over 300,000 of them gathered in the streets to welcome the team back home. Angel had never seen anything like it before in his life. So they had all of those fans, okay? Angel was the only player from Los Industriales to dedicate himself to professional baseball. At age 17, he signed with Los Angeles of Anaheim, and a year later with the Reynosa Broncos, before finally settling with the Sultans of Monterrey. After he stopped playing, Angel continued to have influence on the evolution and development of baseball in Mexico, and in 2010 he finally retired from the sport he loved so much. Today, some 60 years later, he is still the only perfect game ever thrown in the history of the Little League World Series. And yes, a movie was made of them. Okay? Esa es una mini biography of Ángel Macías, okay? And they're telling us en dónde jugó, at what age, and everything. Necesito que le pongas pausa al video para que la vuelvas a leer, por favor. Y en tu cuaderno me vas a escribir qué pasó con Ángel Macías que él quería que pasara. ¿Ok? Él dijo, yo quiero, esta historia es tan padre que debería de qué. Contéstame esa pregunta. This, he said, in page 142, a lo último dice, they were to play La Mesa North in 18 from California. Ángel had seen La Mesa win their semifinal effortlessly. That night, Angel thought they should probably make a movie about all of this. Entonces, ¿qué pasó? Que Ángel dijo que quería que pasara, ¿ok? Allá, contéstenme en la página, en tu notebook, ¿ok? En tu cuaderno, contesta eso. Ponle pausa el video para que puedas contestar. Ya cuando termines de contestar, con unas 2, 3 oraciones, me open to page 148, ¿ok? ¿Qué pasó que Ángel quería que pasara? Ok, si ya le pusiste play, quiere decir que ya contestaste, que no se te olvide mandarme las contestaciones y todo lo de la clase de hoy, que viene siendo una clase normal. En la página 148, en el Think Critically, tenemos discuss. Both Alonso from What the Storm Brought and Angel Macias face challenges situations. Also, must save another person's life, and Alonso must save another person's life, and Angel must play a very good team in the Little League World Series final. Compare how Alonso and Angel respond to these challenges. Do they respond with confidence or fear? Okay, so we have two different little kids, okay? We have Alonso, que él tenía que ser valiente cuando estaba lloviendo y todo lo que pasó en esa historia, ¿verdad? Si se acuerdan, están hablando de What the Storm Brought, okay? What the Storm Brought is on page 14. Okay, what the storm brought on page 114. Okay, and Ángel Macías, la historia que acabamos de leer, ellos dos tenían challenges. De eso es lo que estamos hablando, challenges. They both had challenges. Compare how Alonso and Ángel responded to these challenges. Cómo ellos dos respondieron a estos challenges. Los dos con confidence or fear, con miedo, con llanto. ¿Cómo respondieron a estos challenges que tuvieron en su vida? Okay, a challenge, remember que es un obstacle that doesn't let you reach your goal, okay? Un challenge es un obstáculo that does not let you reach your goal, okay? So Macias wanted to play a perfect game, okay? And Alonso wanted to save his family, okay? So put pause and tell me how they faced each challenge, okay? And you're gonna write it at the bottom. Le puedes poner pausa para que puedas contestar. Next, the next question says, write a good biographer must select which details to include about the subject's life. Gareth Van Gogh wrote about Angel's personal life. Do you think it was important to include this information? State why or why not. Entonces, a good biographer must select which details to include, ¿verdad? Cuando tú estés escribiendo una historia, sea tuya o de alguien más, tienes que escoger a cuáles detalles incluir en esa historia, ¿verdad? In a person's life, for example, about Angel's personal life, okay? Gareth Van Gogh, que viene siendo el que escribió la historia que acabamos de leer, ¿ok? Él escribió la historia que acabamos de leer de Angel's life. Do you think it was important to include this information? ¿Había una información ahí que a ustedes no se les hizo importante incluir en la historia o todos las opinions or facts fueron relevantes para que tú leyeras y entendieras bien la historia? Why or why not? Eso lo vas a contestar con, I think that all of the details or all of the facts included in the story were important because, ¿ok? Así tienes que contestar toda esa pregunta, ¿ok? Por eso quería pausar y hacer esto con ustedes así de lento. Sé que estamos haciéndolo muy lento a como lo hacemos en clase, pero así quiero que lo contesten. Let me get this. A lo mejor va a estar muy grande, pero it doesn't matter. I think that the author, it's no me va a caber. I think that the author opinions and facts that he included in the personal life of Ángel Macías were good because, or I understood them because, yes or no. ¿Por qué los entendiste y por qué no? ¿Por qué tú sientes que sí fue importante incluir todos esos detalles en la historia de Ángel? O también puedes decir, no, a mí se me hace que no fueron importantes porque pues yo no tenía que saber cuánta ropa llevó o cuánto dinero trae, aunque sí era muy importante porque cómo iba a saber él, ¿verdad? ¿Cuántos días iba a quedar? Ellos iban según a perder. ¿Cómo iba a ir un equipo de Monterrey tan pequeño, un equipo nuevo que jugaba nomás de todo corazón, que no jugaba con guantes bien ni professionally, like the ones in the United States? ¿Cómo ellos iban a ganar the baseball games? ¿Ok? Pause para que puedas contestar esa pregunta. Yo voy a seguir. Ok, now esto es lo que vas a hacer. Ok, aquí dice que nomás vas a hacer reread la página 144 y 145, pero yo no. Lo que tú vas a hacer, como ahorita tenemos todo el tiempo del mundo, ¿ok? Lo que vas a hacer es vas a ir a la historia de la página a 134, ¿ok? All the way to page 147. Tienes todas esas hojas para encontrar 10 facts and 10 opinions, ¿ok? So I need you to circle 10 facts and underline 10 opinions. ¿Ok? Circle 10 facts and underline 10 opinions. Acuérdense que las facts son cosas que si tú las buscas son reales. They're true. Son cosas que no, that you can't prove them wrong. No puedes hacer una prueba o buscarla y hacer que son mal, que están mal. En opinions es las opiniones de la gente. O sea, son cosas que la verdad no tienen un yes o un no answer, ¿ok? So, ponle pausa el video para que puedas hacer eso. Yo voy a seguir en la página 149. Page 149 dice, discuss what information about Ángel Macías would you like to know that the author did not tell you? How might you find the answers that you're looking for? ¿Ok? Entonces, esa la discuss, la vamos a contestar. Voy a hacer una línea, ¿ok? Ay, stop it. Aquí abajo la vamos a contestar, ¿ok? Esa. Dice, what information about Ángel Macías would you like to know that the author did not tell you? ¿Qué información de Ángel Macías you want to know que el autor did not tell you? Que no te dijo, ¿ok? How might you find answers that you're looking for? Y, ok, me vas a escribir dos preguntas que tú tienes de Ángel Macías, ok? Two questions that you have about Ángel Macías. Y luego me vas a decir en dónde encontrarlas, ok? ¿En dónde vas a buscar esas? Por ejemplo, si tu pregunta es algo que no te dijeron en la historia de Ángel Macías, puede ser... por ejemplo, una cosa que no me dijeron es si él tiene hermanos o hermanas, ¿verdad? No me dijeron nada de eso. ¿Cómo yo puedo saber dónde voy a buscar si él tiene other brothers and sisters? ¿Ok? No me van a agarrar esa pregunta. Ustedes tienen que hacer dos preguntas y en dónde buscarlas, ¿ok? Pónganle pausa para que puedan hacer eso. Now, we're going to answer over here where it says, look back and write. Dice, look back at page 137. Okay, we're going to go back to page 137. Okay, on page 137, what unique ability does the author refer to? Hablamos mucho de eso. What unique ability? ¿Qué quería decir unique? Único, ¿verdad? Único, algo que no es muy normal, muy usual, okay? So what unique ability does the author talk about? ¿Qué es la unique ability that was natural to Ángel? Okay, escríbemela aquí. Ponle pausa para que puedas hacer eso. Okay, while you're in pause, we're going to go to page 100 and 50. Okay, we're going to go to page 150. Okay, now we are on page 150. On page 150, we're going to talk about newsletter articles. Okay, so in newsletter articles have to have facts. Okay, they give you facts about the subject. Okay, in order to have the facts, you need details. Los detalles son los que hacen que las facts they have to be believable, right? Entonces, eso es lo que hacen las facts. Dice, a newsletter article gives facts and details about a subject. The student model on the next page is an example of a newsletter article. Ahorita la vamos a leer, ¿ok? Writing prompt. Think about a person who is interesting to you. Write a newsletter article about him or her, giving details, facts, events, and quotations to describe his or her experiences and personality. ¿Ok? Entonces, este writing prompt lo vamos a escribir about Ángel Macías. ¿Ok? Dice que escojas a alguien, pero yo estoy escogiendo por ustedes y vamos a escoger a Ángel Macías. Lo que yo quiero que hagas es un newsletter article como el que vamos a leer ahorita en la página 151. ¿Ok? Abajo en el writer's checklist, this is what you have to do. You have to include specific facts and details and examples. ¿Qué quiere decir? Para que tus facts sean correctas, para que tus facts sean believable, que las crean, tienen que tener ejemplos, ¿verdad? And then it says, guide and inform readers, understanding of key ideas by answering the following. Tienes que contestar estas preguntas en tu article. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay? Those are the ones that you have to answer. Esas tienen que estar contestadas en tu article, en tu newsletter article. Si no las contestas, it's not going to be complete, okay? Provide direct quotations if possible. ¿Qué son direct quotations? Eso es algo que hablamos al principio, cuando recién empezamos las clases, ¿ok? Cuando las direct quotations son cosas que dicen ellos, ¿ok? Que fue directo de la boca de la persona que tú estás escribiendo, ¿ok? The direct quotations. Por ejemplo, Ángel Macías dijo en la página 142, dijo, that night Ángel thought they should probably make a movie about all of this. That's a direct quotation. Ángel, eso es lo que él quería, eso es lo que él pensó, que deberían de hacer una película de lo que estaba pasando, porque it was unbelievable, ¿ok? Let's go to page 151. Dice, student model, lifeguard, Fran, lifeguard Fran. Fran Jones is 17, and to earn money, she works every summer as a lifeguard at one of the state's, as a lifeguard at one of the state beaches. Being a lifeguard is a huge responsibility, and Fran has to stay aware. Several times she spotted swimmers in trouble. When that's happened, she raced to the beach with a flotation device, swam out to the swimmers, and helped them get back to shore. When she's working, Fran sits in a tall chair that has a ladder leading up to it. From up high, she gets a good view of the swimmers. She says, because it's difficult to watch every swimmer at a time, I try to identify swimmers who do not seem to be strong swimmers. I focus on them, but I try to scan all the other swimmers too. To get her job, Fran passed a life-saving test, 4 lifeguards, CPR training, and a written test. Only then was she certified to work on state beaches. Without lifeguards such as Fran, we would not be able to swim as safely at our favorite beaches and pools. Okay, so we're talking about this girl. Her name is Jane. Her name is Fran Jones. I'm sorry. She is 17 years old, and they tell us, ya nos respondieron who? Fran Jones. What? She's a lifeguard. When? In the summer. Where? At the local beaches, right? Why? Because she needed extra money. How? Well, she took a CPR training and a written test to do so. Ven, nos respondieron todas esas. Who, what, when, where, and why. Que son las que están aquí abajo. Que yo se las voy a circular para que sepan en dónde están. Pero, wow. Bueno, sepa que circule. Ahí lo voy a hacer otra vez. And there you go. Why, what, when, and where. Entonces, ahorita, Tú vas a ponerle pausa otra vez al video y me vas a escribir un student model, así como el de Lifeguard Friend, ok, de Ángel Macías. Me vas a responder who, what, when, where, and why. Acabamos de terminar de leer una historia de unas 8 páginas explicando todo eso. Entonces tú sí puedes hacer un mini resumen de la vida de Ángel Macías con unas 2 párrafos, ¿ok? Acuérdense que cada párrafo contiene de 5 a 10 oraciones y cada oración debe de contener de 5 a 10 palabras, contestando todo con correcta puntuación, lo que vimos al principio del año, al principio del mes. Dice, conventions, compound and complex sentences. Acuérdense que esos son two simple sentences joined by a comma and conjunction. So acuérdense de usar la comma, such as and, but, or. A complex sentence contains an independent clause which can stand alone and a dependent clause which cannot. Ok, acuérdense que esas oraciones tienen que ser muy cuidadosos con ellas porque pueden ser confundidas con run-on sentences. Ok, acuérdense que si no es un complete thought, es dependent, y si es un complete thought, que viene siendo una complete sentence, es un independent clause. A compound sentence contains two simple sentences. Okay, they could also, those two simple sentences could also be independent clauses, which could be independent sentences. Okay. Si no sabes de qué estoy hablando o si no entendiste lo de compound sentence and complete sentences, acuérdense que lo vimos la semana pasada. ¿Ok? Ponle pause a tu video y si todavía no entiendes, mándame un mensajito para saber qué quiere decir cada una de esas oraciones. ¿Ok? Si no, te puedes ir atrás a la página 121 donde nos explica arriba independent and dependent sentence clauses, ¿ok? And how to identify, cómo identificarlos. A independent clause is if it comes first, it needs no comma, and the dependent clause comes first, that means it does need a comma, okay? It sets off with a comma. An independent clause is a sentence that makes sense by itself, que puede ser solo porque es independiente. A dependent clause es una mini oración, no es una oración, que necesita algo más para poder sostenerse como una oración. Entonces a ese es en donde le agregamos el comma, ¿verdad? Ok, hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Ok, so ponle pausa para que escribas tú tu mini biography de Ángel Macías. Escríbelo abajo de lo último que te dije ahorita, que me contestaras de qué era lo que quería Ángel Macías que pasara, ok. So ponle pausa el video para que lo puedas continuar. Okay, now we are on page 152. Okay, on page 152, I'm going to put a small little video so you can watch it. Please pay attention.
Hey, Play Ball fans, I'm Carlos Pena. Welcome inside MLB Network's Studio 21. This state-of-the-art studio was named after one legendary man, Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente.
When I was a little kid, I want to be a baseball player. This is something that I think about. The more I think about it, I convinced that God want me to play baseball.
So, who was Roberto? Let's get into the facts. As a ball player, Roberto is ranked among the best of all time.
Roberto Clemente, one of the most feared hitters in the National League.
He was a 5-tool player, which means he could run, catch, throw, hit for average, and hit for power.
They're still trying to figure a way to pitch to this batting king.
Let's start with the stats, because Roberto had a lot of them. Roberto was a 15-time All-Star, a 4-time batting champion, and a National League MVP.
Here's that Clemente swing once again. Set bat, stay back. Hot. Now a trademark, hitting off the front foot. Look at that right foot, the rear foot, a foot off the ground, something that is not advisable as a hitter.
If that wasn't enough, he had 12 gold gloves. Can you believe it?
Right center, falling pretty fast out there. However, it is caught by Clemente with a tremendous running, sliding catch. Turning around second. He's going to try for third. It may be close. He's out.
But perhaps his greatest achievement was on the biggest stage of them all. Playing in his second World Series, Roberto dazzled in the 1971 Fall Classic, hitting .414 with 2 home runs and made some unbelievable plays in the field to help the Pirates win the World Series.
And only a good play by Clemente keeps Belanger from scoring.
That's one of the greatest arms baseball has ever seen.
And what a magnificent performance from Pittsburgh's right fielder, the great Roberto Clemente. Greatest right fielder in the game of baseball, Roberto Clemente.
I would like to say something for my mother and father in Spanish. En el día más grande de mi vida, para los que de la bendición mía y que mi padre me eche mi bendición en Puerto Rico. Mr. and Mrs. Clemente, we love them too.
And just to cap off his historical career, Roberto finished with exactly 3,000 hits.
Bobby hits a drive into the back in the left center field. There she is. Papers flying. Everybody standing. A double for Roberto.
But aside from being a Hall of Fame player, there's more to Roberto Clemente, the man. He wore his heritage with pride, not just for Puerto Rico, but for all of Latin America. Roberto felt that he had a responsibility to the Hispanic people. He embraced this responsibility with dignity and grace.
I am from the minority group. I'm from the poor people. I represent the poor people. I represent the common people of America.
Look who it is, mi hermano, Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez.
Hola! How you feeling, big boy?
Pedro, what does Roberto's legacy mean to you?
To me, Roberto Clemente is the standard that all of us Latin players should follow, should copy, and should try to emulate.
Thanks, Pedro. To me, Roberto Clemente is an absolute perfect role model to follow. Roberto took his role as a baseball star as a way to help those in need. He made large financial donations to low-income families and even held free baseball clinics for kids in Puerto Rico.
I love people, and I love the minority people. I love people that they are not big shots. I like common people. I like workers. I like people that suffer. Because these people, they have a different approach of life, of the people that they really have everything in life that sometimes they get bored.
How important was Roberto's legacy, just as the stars of the past and present?
I put it in the same level de Beirut. I call him the Bambino Latinos. Someone hero, for sure. Still, every day we all have something in common, and that's trying to follow Roberto Clemente's footsteps.
The importance of knowing that his community is what made him who he was, and the reason why he was able to be where he was, and he never forgot that.
Whenever they mention Roberto Clemente, it brings me a lot of pride, a lot of joy.
I think he had the same influence for Latin American players Jackie Robinson had for the African American players.
Roberto's legacy had such an impact that he was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame just 7 months after his passing. To further honor Clemente's life, Major League Baseball created the Roberto Clemente Award, given to the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, and community involvement. MLB Network's own Harold Reynolds, Al Leiter, Jim Thome, and John Smoltz have all earned the prestigious award.
This award ranks #1, and I can tell you this is absolutely permanently displayed in my office, and it means so much to me.
And some of the biggest stars of today have also won, and it sure means a lot to them.
It's the greatest award you can win, and I'm will be forever appreciative of this, and this will go front and center in front of anything I've ever done on the baseball field.
So many of us, and I'm including myself, wouldn't have set foot in the major leagues without the life and legacy of Roberto Clemente.
When I was a little kid, the only thing I used to do was playing ball all big time with the paper ball, with the roller ball, with the tennis ball. We used to make our own balls and stuff like that.
For now, we say goodbye from Studio 21 as we always remember number 21.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class.
Okay, guys, the video you guys just saw is about this next guy, Roberto Clemente. Okay, Roberto Clemente, a baseball hero. Okay, what I want you to do next, yo leí con ustedes, hicimos la lectura guiada y quiero que miren cómo pausé, cómo me pausé en cada mini párrafo y analicé lo que estaba leyendo, lo volví a repasar, me lo dije en español, bueno, se los dije a ustedes en español. Quiero que hagan eso ahorita que ustedes se pongan a leer estas 4 páginas solos. Bueno, en realidad son 3 páginas, ¿ok? Se las voy a leer yo, pero no se las voy a explicar. Y luego quiero que después de esto, cuando la lean conmigo, la vuelvan a leer porque les voy a pedir una tarea de esto, ¿ok? Ahí les voy a explicar la tarea, primero se las voy a leer. Roberto Clemente was many things. He was fast as lightning, one of the greatest hitters in baseball history, and a Baseball Hall of Famer. Most importantly, Roberto Clemente dedicated his life to helping others. Roberto Clemente was born on August 18, 1934, in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, the game of baseball is not just a game, but a way of life. Like other Puerto Rican kids, Clemente grew up dreaming about playing in the major leagues. When he was 17 years old, Clemente tried out for scouts from many different teams. What the scouts saw amazed them. He had a cannon of an arm. He hit the ball out of the park. His dream of playing professional baseball finally came true when the Pittsburgh Pirates drafted him in 1955. At first, playing in the major leagues was not easy for Clemente. Like other minority players, Clemente endured results and named calling from angry crowds and opponents. He was forced to eat and sleep in different restaurants and hotels than his teammates. Despite this, Clemente went on to become one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He won several awards, including Most Valuable Player, and was voted an All-Star 12 times. The Pittsburgh Pirates also went on to win the World Series in 1960 and 1971. Next page. On December 23rd, 1972, a massive earthquake in Nicaragua killed thousands of people. He wanted to help and asked people to donate money and supplies for Nicaraguan people. Clemente decided to deliver the supplies himself. On December 31st, Roberto Clemente boarded a plane in Puerto Rico bound for Nicaragua. Oh gosh. Tragically, the plane crashed shortly after takeoff. There were no survivors. Clemente was 38 years old. To honor his memory, Clemente was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame just a few months after the tragedy. The U.S. Congress also awarded him the Congressional Medal of Honor in 1973. The spirit of Roberto Clemente continues to live on today. Outside PNC Park in Pittsburgh stands a statue of Roberto Clemente. Written on the statue are the words, "The Great One." This is how Clemente will always be remembered. Okay, and then on page 155, puedes ver la statue de Roberto Clemente, the Great One. Okay, está en Pittsburgh. Okay, now, what I want you to do is, quiero que la vuelvas a leer, okay? You're going to read it again. La vas a leer ustedes solitos, la van a volver a leer y me van a mucho escribir, van a volver a escribir ahora, van a escoger ustedes, no tiene que ser necessarily un baseball team, porque yo sé que muchos ahora bueno, ayer me estaban diciendo que no sabían mucho de béisbol. Pueden escoger cualquier atleta, whichever one that you want, cualquiera. Baseball, basketball, gymnast, lo que ustedes quieran, cualquier athlete que quieran, football, soccer, anything. Y me van a escribir una mini biography de ellos. Quiero que la busquen, quiero que usen el internet. Ya sé que ahorita todo es internet, todo es la computadora. Pues vamos a aprender cómo usarla correctamente. No van a buscar en Wikipedia, ¿ok? Acuérdense de eso. Wikipedia, no, ¿ok? Solamente en official sites, ¿ok? O en Google o en YouTube que sean biographies de la persona que estás buscando. Por ejemplo, ¿ok? Si yo voy a buscar, hold on, ¿ok? Si yo voy a buscar, vamos a ver algo que a mí me guste. Oh, yeah. Ya sé qué. Hold on. Déjales, hago share la screen. Share. Hello. Ok, aquí voy a poner yo un atleta que a mí me guste. Viene siendo la Simone Biles. Okay, she's a gymnast. I'm gonna put mini, o puedo poner who is she? Who is Simone Biles? Okay, who is she? Le pongo go y lo me van a salir. Why is Simone Biles Biles the world's best gymnast? Rio Olympics 2016, the New York Times. The New York Times is something really good to watch porque es algo que sabemos que sí nos va a decir la verdad. Y luego aquí que dice, Inside the Life of the Olympic Gymnast Simone Biles. También puede ser cierto because we have the TNN. Okay, we could also look for, aquí mira, okay, this is a TV show. We know that it's going to be real. Le podemos buscar diferentes significados. Who is she? Le puse yo, pero también puedes poner el nombre de la persona que estás viendo y poner accomplishments, okay? Accomplishments. Y nos salen otra vez. Simone Biles, the decorated gymnast in the World Championship. Ok. And everything about him. Ok. Recuerda que tienes que responder. Who, why, when, where, how, y what. Ok, acuérdense que en su biography que van a escribir ahorita de esta persona que ustedes elijan, de cualquier atleta que ustedes elijan, tiene que responder eso. Who, why, when, where, how, and what. Ok, si tienes preguntas sobre la tarea, mándame un mensajito, ok, para yo saber cómo responderte. La tarea es muy sencilla. ¿Ok? Solamente es escribir. Necesito saber que ustedes escriban. Por favor, no hagan copy-paste absolutamente nada porque yo voy a saber. ¿Ok? Prefiero que me hagan las cosas mal para saber cómo ayudarles a que esté perfecta y que sea del internet y yo decir, pues todo lo sabe. ¿Ok? Y en sí en cómo ayudarte. Yo sé que algunos de ustedes todavía no sabemos escribir bien el inglés. Métele lo mejor que puedan en palabras en inglés, oraciones en inglés, ¿ok? Esto lo vas a hacer en tu cuaderno. Ya llevamos 3 cosas en el cuaderno. Llevamos la primera que viene siendo la question, que es lo que Ángel Macías quería que pasara y que sí pasó. La segunda es sobre Ángel Macías, una biography, una pequeña biography de Ángel Macías. Y luego tenemos esta, de tu elección, cualquier cualquier atleta, athlete de tu elección que quieras elegir. Vas a escribirme una mini biography también de who, why, when, where, now, how, and what. ¿Ok? Espero que les vaya muy bien. Ahora, por último, me voy a meter a la plataforma. Acuérdense que en cualquier momento ustedes le pueden poner pausa al video. Ok. Ok, nomás que si tarda un poquito para cargarse. Ok, there you go. Me voy a meter aquí al de ustedes para decirles cómo vamos. Aunque yo les dejé esta clase así recorded, no quiere decir que no quiero que trabajen aquí. Acuérdense que estos son refuerzo, ¿ok? Es lo que estamos utilizando and it's part of your grade, ¿ok? A ver, ¿cómo vamos? Excelente. Mira, tenemos aquí a 70%. Caleb, felicidades Caleb, 58%, Ricardo, Camila 7%, Valentina 9%, Esgardo 11%, Oscar 0%, Miranda 3% y Kimberly 3%, ¿ok? Muy bien, a los que subieron, felicidades, llevan muchos trabajitos hechos, muchas felicidades. Acuérdense que lo que queremos es que esas que están en rojo también estén en verdecitos, ¿ok? Y amarillos. Si necesitas ayuda todavía en meterte, dime, quiero terminar esta semana el jueves, ¿ok? O sea, mañana, para el viernes, agarrarme personalmente con cada uno de ustedes y meternos a la plataforma para enseñarles cómo utilizar los niños, aunque regresemos a la escuela, esta plataforma la vamos a seguir utilizando, ¿ok? Porque ahorita les abrí solamente algunos trabajos, pero les quiero empezar a abrir English Comprehension Skills, Reading and Writing, todo eso, ¿ok? So, háganlos, ¿ok? Bueno, niños, that's it for today. Acuérdense, si no le entendiste algo, pon el video otra vez, ponlo otra vez, vuélvelo a leer. Si no lo entendiste, pregúntame, ¿ok? Nos vemos mañana, igual a la misma hora, a las 10, en el mismo link, ¿ok? Bye, guys.